Hi everyone, my name is Jen. Good evening. It is Saturday, almost 5 o'clock. It's a beautiful night. The sun's about to set behind us. But what I was thinking, I have had over the past 5.5 years, for those that aren't familiar with Always and Forever, tons of requests with respect to people asking hopefully it's working, how I started, how this little bed barn was created, and ultimately how you could do it too. I used to take every request and sit with people, gosh, sometimes an hour, sometimes 3 hours. And truthfully, if I could bottle up all the work that we do in and day out, it scares people away to know just the amount of work that goes into one single day. And when I started this rescue, I actually didn't meet with anyone. I didn't know anything about rescue. I didn't have a past in training in animals. I truly was just one of those kids that said, when I win the lottery, I'm gonna buy a farm and rescue a ton of animals. And I never actually played the lottery, so that dream was never gonna come true that way. But ultimately, I think when you're meant to do something, life finds a way. And one of the most interesting things is that you never really know where God's going to take you along your journey. But if your heart is open and if you're willing to go all in, we truly believe and have proven that anything is possible. So what I was thinking, since time is incredibly hard to give to anyone who wants to start a rescue, is to kick off kind of a series of lives where if there are questions as they come, I can answer them, but how you could start your own rescue, because what this world needs for all the animals are more and more good people that are starting their own rescues up where they are. And if it's modeled after our mission, or if you follow anything about us and how we do anything, or we can support you in any way, that's what we're here for. I think one of the most beautiful things about Always and Forever are how connected we are with people, not just in Spring Hill, Kansas, but truly all across the world. Because when you have this deep love and you can feel what others feel, it's so hard. I say it every morning. I wish I could bottle up all the love here and just kind of share it in the videos. And that's what we share with all of our team members every day, is that we are living someone else's dream. And so if there's a way that we can help you create your own dream and making it a reality, then that's what we want to do. So I'm going to keep this pretty simple. And what I will say is, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to take risks when it comes to believing in something big, because if you don't believe in it, nobody else is going to believe in it. And if you're not willing to go all in, you can never ask someone else to support what you're doing. So I like to think of it as, don't have a backup plan. So you know, if something fails, you find a way to make it work, and you find a way to go about it a different way, because just because you failed the first time doesn't mean that it's not gonna succeed the second or the third or the fourth. You only fail when you stop trying. So that's kind of the long and short story. I can go into the background of what led me to be here, but I've shared it so many times before. Everything on my journey, I truly do believe, has been heaven connected, because I would never have come from an urban area of Chicago, Houston, Pittsburgh, back to Chicago, Boston, and just to a little town in Spring Hill, Kansas, that I truly do believe is a little slice of heaven. And every morning I wake up and greet these 18, 19 pups on the farm. I am truly blessed and will forever be grateful for the privilege to care for all God's animals. So the more that we can help others fulfill their dream and your own personal journey, that's what I want to do. So what's the first thing to do? Number one, decide. I think it was 2017. It was just one of those rough days where you kind of feel lost and heavy. And for anyone that has ever suffered a loss and feels the heaviness of a grief, it can be all consuming. And when something is all consuming, it is so hard, because I share with people sometimes the irony and how many people look to me to find hope, and how I look within my own heart and to God to keep the hope going when things feel side railed. But because at one point in my life, I truly had lost all hope. And I think without hope, the world is dark. And that's a darkness that I never want anyone else to feel. as well as you never want God's animals to feel. And that's where, out of the blue, one day I was literally standing outside a GMC. I think I bought some like protein drinks or something, and I called my sister and I said, I'm going to buy a little piece of land and start a senior dog sanctuary. And I think she laughed because it's so not me, because number one, I don't really do nature, completely afraid of bugs and all things like that. But I knew in Kansas you could buy land, and I was in Overland Park, for anyone that's familiar with that, which is kind of like a really big suburb, and I had never lived in the suburbs before, always been big city. And so being in a suburb, I was kind of losing my mind. I had 2 senior dogs at the time. They were losing their mind in an apartment. Life just felt overwhelming, and I needed a purpose. And I don't even know how this came into my heart, but one of those dreams that you have as a kid just kind of came back, and it said, I needed to do this, and I needed to try. And I can go into the history of how I found the farm, but I don't think that's super important. Right now, what's important is that if you have a dream, declare it. Put it out there. Who cares if people laugh at you? Number one, they're going to laugh at you anyway. They're going to laugh if you fail. They're going to laugh at you if you try. And then when you do succeed, they're going to jump on the bandwagon. So ultimately, I say it all the time, it doesn't matter what the peanut gallery say. Even if they're your closest friends, what you're going to find is that the people that are meant to be in your life stay in your life, and they support your dreams, and they support your courage to say, even if I fail, I'm going all in on this dream. And even if it sounds completely crazy and I don't know what I'm doing, and if you don't know what you're doing, have the courage to try, because the biggest thing in life is to live with regret. So if you have a dream to start a rescue, here's what I'm gonna say. First, step one, I literally put it out there on a Facebook post that was public. Now, if you followed my page at all in 2017, it was dark. It was sadness, because all I could feel in my heart was sadness. And I had lost my best friend, and to wake up into a world where the person that you talk to all the time no longer exists, it's hard to find, it's hard to feel the sun again. And I used to say that all the time. It was like I would step outside and the world was so beautiful around me, and I knew it and I could feel it, and I still had people who loved me, but I could not feel the sun. And if you have been through a loss like that, you probably can relate. But I got to the point where after I found this farm, I could feel the sun again. And the one thing I wanted to do was share that. So I got sidetracked on that, but when it comes to starting your own rescue, number one, put it out there. Put it on public Facebook posts, start sharing it. Have the courage to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. You are literally only limited by your own imagination. Step two, pick a name. As simple as that. What did I do? I put it out there. I said, I'm going to start a senior dog sanctuary. What do I want to call it? Anybody have any suggestions? I got a ton of suggestions on the post. The post is still out there. Every year that it comes up, I share both of those. And what you'll see is nobody actually specifically wrote Always and Forever. I think there was kind of like Forever Pause, different things. I did like a 2-second search on Google to see, what kind of names there were, because number one, I knew I didn't want it to be about me. I knew I wanted it to be about the animals and the love that we had for them. And somebody had said on my post, it said start with an A, because then if they Google animal rescues with an A, it will pop up sooner. So that's kind of how, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Let's start with an A. And then ultimately, I think there's something about a rule of threes. So if you have 3 names, it's catchy, the way the human brain works. So Always and Forever, it hadn't caught on yet. I didn't have that name yet, but I knew the rule of threes, and with kind of catchiness, and the human brain is amazing. I don't know all the science behind it, but I can pick up little tidbits that keep me interested, and so that's kind of how it was. And I didn't want it to be about me, so there was no gender, anything like that in it. And to those that have followed our page for years, I actually was never on video before. Nobody knew who I really was, and the sole purpose of that was because I wanted people to know the organization and the mission and everyone behind the scenes, and have it not be about me. But I realized as we grew and grew, you got to know your leadership, because it's unfortunate that not every nonprofit is as transparent as ours. And so while I would love to be hidden behind the scenes with the camera, I also think it's important for you as the most incredible, loving supporters that with the biggest hearts that I have ever not even met, but had the pleasure and joy to actually create relationships online with. You guys are amazing, and you deserve to know who runs the organization that you put your hard money and support into. So that's kind of where I started to do more of the lives so that you could see it, and also because how could you not enjoy the beautiful scenery behind us and just inviting you into the peace of this little bit of heaven. And if you're in Spring Hill, shoot us an email. We always love to have new friends meet us. But once again, I got sidetracked. Okay, with the name. Make it unique to you. What do you want this to be for you? Do you see this as a rescue that you're going to run in your lifetime? Or do you see this as a rescue that you're going to create a legacy with and that you want to live beyond your lifetime? So I would say that we'll get into the board of directors and how important that is in creating your bylaws and so forth. But just for today, really focus on believing in yourself and committing. You don't have to have a ton of money. We'll talk about that another time, but you have to be willing to invest everything that you have and even more into it. It's going to push you to the brinks. But right now, put it out there, commit to it, think of your name. And once you think of your name, do a name search. Jump on Google, type it in, see if in your state somebody already has that name, because it's important. You're going to be incorporated in the state that you are, and this is really geared towards our US audience. So do a simple name search. Every single state's going to have some type of business registry to where you can look that up. I will say I am a lawyer. This is not legal advice in any capacity whatsoever. These are just the steps that I did. And circling back to how we chose our name, I think somebody had said like Furever Angels, and with the FUR, and I loved that. And then I found it was probably a week after I put that out there and we were looking for farms, I found just magically, I say magically, but once again, everything is heaven connected. I truly do believe that. I found a card from my friend that I had never seen before, and it said always and forever at the end of it. And I thought, or it said forever and always, not always and forever. Oh, no. It did say always and forever, but not with the FUR. It was just the regular forever, and that kind of solidified. It just popped in my head. I said that's it, always and forever. And then Midwest Animal Sanctuary. And for anyone that kind of does acronyms, the M, the A, and the S, and that's how I circled back. If you could put it backwards, that her name was Sam. So that's how we got our name, always and forever, Midwest Animal Sanctuary, because the dream of this, our mission statement, you can create a mission statement too. Mission statements are harder. I will tell you, it took us a long time to figure out our mission statement, and we kind of did it as a board, we did it as a group, and we evolved because we first were truly a senior dog sanctuary, because it made sense, because I didn't know a single soul here when I moved to Kansas, and I thought, I've got 2 senior dogs here, I will have a barn renovated next to my house, because I didn't want people in and out of my house if I wasn't there, but I wanted to invite people in, and I wanted it to be a place where, I'll tell you honestly, I have never been to a kill shelter before I went to Wichita this past year, and that was for a reason, because I was literally the person that would go into Marley and Me, what was that, like 2008, and I had a breakdown at the theater. My friends thought I was insane, because I literally was hysterical crying in that theater. I didn't even watch the end of it where I knew he was going to die, but that is how I handled the death of a dog, and it wasn't obviously, it was a movie. So it's just ridiculous, honestly, that I'm here doing what I do, but life has such a funny, beautiful, amazing way of working out. It's a little chilly out, but so yeah, so pick your name, work on your mission statement. You know, we evolved with starting as a senior dog sanctuary, and got a lot of pushback from people as to who wanted us to define exactly what was a senior, and I never really could do that, because if we put a hard cap on, okay, seniors are 6 years old and 6 years old for large breeds, and maybe 10 for small breeds. That's, you know, so if you think about a Great Dane and a Chihuahua, one's going to live significantly longer than the other. But how do you say to a 4-year-old dog that is about to be euthanized, we're not going to save you even though we have a spot because you don't meet our criteria for senior? And so we've really kind of evolved into our mission statement. And when Osawatomie, we found out that there was a need in a local pound for us to step in and help, we started saving cats too. And the very first cat that we pulled from Wichita Animal Shelter was my Charlotte, who anybody who knows her story, she literally she changed my life when it came to how much I saw the true beauty of a soul in a cat. And my first cat before that, Bad Cat, I'll share that story another time. He was a character and his life ended in a tragedy, and I thought I was lost after that. So circling back to the mission statement, our dream is to wake up in a world where every animal is treated with kindness, dignity, respect, and most importantly, their life has been touched by love, even if only for a moment. So we went from senior dogs to dogs and cats to seeing that every life matters. The reactive dogs, the scared dogs, the abused, the medical cases, the cats with tons of amputations. It's truly, and what we found was just a social media page. I put it up when the barn was being built, and I put it out there, and I'm such a big believer in that good attracts good. And what you're doing, if you put it out there every day, I wanted people to see what we were doing and to feel it, and to know that some days it was just me here in the mornings, and some days I would see a car at the barn and I actually would cry tears of joy because I knew I didn't have to go over there because I was so tired when this first started and overwhelmed. And I think the very first week there were 3 dogs the first week, and it was just covered in diarrhea, like diarrhea everywhere. 3 dogs doesn't sound like a lot, but when there's no plan B or exit strategy, it's a lot when you feel like you don't know what you're doing. And then 3 dogs became 6, 6 became 10, 10 became 19. Then we truly started fostering and adopting. So how to start a rescue, going back to that, we're going to start this series off. Believe in yourself. Go for it. Go all in. Just decide. Put it out there. It's okay if you don't know. Pick a name. Look it up. Make sure that name is available. And then you're going to have to incorporate. And we'll pick up on that another time. But like and follow our page, because we have tons of adoptable dogs and cats. And when I'm actually going to go through the comments on here. If you have comments specifically on, rescues or how to start it in what you did and things like that, or specific questions, we can talk about that too. But we'll go through the basic steps. Next would be incorporation and filing that. And you really don't need a lawyer. You can do it by yourself, even though I am a lawyer. Also a God thing too, I used to help set up nonprofits as pro bono work as an attorney that I did at a large law firm in Pittsburgh. So it's funny how full circle, you can hear Z barking, my personal rescue in there. It's funny how things that you never think that you would use for the things that you do now all kind of lead you to where you are today. And it's trusting the process, trusting the journey. And once again, there's just so much that we can do together. And if you have that dream in your heart and you want help to get there, that's what these are going to be about. So I didn't really prepare. I just thought, let's start helping people, but put it out there. If you just want to put it on the comments in here, if you have a dream in your heart, share it, and people will believe in you. Start talking to your friends about it. You never know who has that same dream as you too, and that's the most beautiful part of Always and Forever. It's everyone's dream. It's not just my dream. I may have bought a farm and renovated a barn, but what makes this special is the love and the magic of our staff and volunteers and our board and every single person on social media and everywhere that supports us in every way. So you guys are a big part of this dream continuing, and if we can in a small way help someone else's dream survive or take off, we're gonna do it. So it's Saturday night. I will probably jump on again tomorrow and continue the series, but we'll put in all caps how to start a rescue, and we'll just keep these conversations going. That way you never know what happens from it, and anybody that wants to do it, like I said earlier, the only limitation that you have is by yourself. Everything is possible just with faith and hope and never giving up. And we prove that every single day here. So have a wonderful Saturday evening. I will see everyone in the morning, and I will read through the comments later. They just scroll through here, so I can't really tell. Apparently my eyesight is not amazing on a little bitty phone with itty bitty words. But have a wonderful evening, and we'll catch up soon. Bye.